Hi, Lisa Ann.
Hello.
Hello, Lisa.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Long distance hugs. So
Yes, hello.
First.
This woman's very chesty first.
Jim's been working on his impressions.
Yeah.
He's doing Lieutenant Dan now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Do
Jim.
we have code words so we know we're supposed to say they're good or not good?
Well,
Or
Yeah.
are you just saying they're all good?
If I do this, if I snap and point, that means it was good.
okay.
Yeah, they don't
Okay,
know.
and
I don't
if
think
I,
the
if I do
audience will-
this like on Friends, you know what I mean? It wasn't good.
What,
was
what
not
did that
good.
mean on Friends? Like,
It meant,
Fuck you.
oh, that's right. We can swear
Yeah,
on
we
this
can swear,
channel.
yeah.
Wow, the freedom you have.
Yeah.
oh, they would do that on Friends?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they were when they were younger. They did it in front of their parents. That's how they'd hide it.
Do you think
so
that's
when they,
cute, Jim?
No, I
I thought
don't.
it was funny. I
not.
thought it was great.
You're wrong.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So this is weird. I'm used to staring at you.
Right, but now you get to stare at Jim.
Now I stare at you and I get a different angle of your face.
Right.
That's
you get
true.
the-
It's nice
you
to
get the
see Sam from
And
the
this
profile.
isn't my better side, so this could ruin our whole relationship. I'd rather
no.
you be over here because I have a dimple on this side, and I just feel cuter that way.
Right. Well, I'll take your word for it.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But you're
no.
delightful from the front.
Thank you so much.
What prescription are those glasses, or are those just like purely for cosmetic reasons?
Actually, next week when I get home, I have to get stronger glasses. So
Oh.
these are, I used to just wear them to drive and for distance. And now it's like facial recognition is important because people approach me in a very fan-like manner. And I
Yeah.
often, when I don't have my glasses on, feel that maybe they're a coworker. Like I know everybody in the world. And then as I get closer, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know this person. And I
Oh,
just
and you-
approach them with some sort of compassion
Right.
when really I want to slug them. So the glasses have become a straight-on safety feature
Okay.
in my life.
to help you from when you approach people.
Yeah.
You do have to worry about being too familiar with people,
Oh
don't
yeah,
you?
because
they're just assume-
Lisa Ann is also my real name. So people just walk up and they're like, "Hey, Lisa, what's up?" And I'm like, "Do I or
Yeah,
do I not know
Where do
this
we-
person?
Yeah, how do you...
Have we met, or was it just you that knows me?"
But you have been in situations where it's like you're being overly familiar. You think this is
yeah.
a person you know, and then they're just a creep.
Yeah.
And you've welcomed them into your life.
Right. Well, now I've been polite, which is always the wrong thing
So
to do.
how do you know they're a creep, though? What gives it away that they're a creep?
Usually there's a couple tag things that would be said, like, I watch your scenes every day. That probably would not be a friend of mine, like letting me know that.
Not in the first conversation,
Not in the first
anyway. Not that
conversation.
initial.
Because they wouldn't just say that to you for no reason.
Right. They say that to you because they're super proud of it.
Sure.
And, like I don't even watch the same thing on Netflix every day. I mean, I do watch ESPN every day, so I can relate to that. But I can't relate to watching porn every day. It seems a bit excessive.
Why do you watch ESPN every day?
Because I do fantasy sports.
Oh,
for
do you do it on
Sirius.
ESPN?
I do it here on Sirius, but I go through my different shows that I watch. A little bit of NFL Network, a little bit of ESPN, listening to the channel, so just
Do you like
gathering.
ESPN?
I
on.
feed through.
Okay.
There's some things, there's musics that are like triggers to, I'm in a hotel room and this is the only channel that I know what it is.
Right.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? You're on the road and it's great backdrop. Meanwhile, you're like, answering some emails, whatever. But I prefer actually radio
You do? Yeah,
and
it's
podcasts.
fun, right?
Yeah.
Why'd you stop doing film? Did you get sick of it, or did something you always wanted to just be like, I got to move on?
I just needed a change, I needed to see what else was out there, and it's been a great adventure because challenging yourself to leave everything that you know is definitely one of the most frightful experiences, and walking away from 99.9% of your income is also frightful. So it's been a great, like these past 3 years, you've watched me go, it's been 3 years now, and
Wow.
and it's been a year since I've been here full time because I lived back and forth LA, New York for about 3 years.
Do you miss it or no?
Do I miss it? I miss it more now than I did when I left, for sure. I can definitely see the amazing things about the business that were awesome. And I actually think that I'm cooler for doing it because now my life is like I do radio.
Right.
I study sports stats. I read up on injuries. My life is kind of, boring, right? So now I look back and I'm like, all right, you did something pretty cool.
The fact
Oh,
that you had that run,
Right.
yeah.
So you actually now there's enough separation where you're like, but I did all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, passport stamped, got to meet a lot of great people, traveled the world, dressed up like a political figure. Like these are all things on the resume that I'm like, you know what? Kudos.
How many years did you do it?
24 years.
You did porn for 24 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
I took a
you
little
look
stint.
phenomenal.
I took a 5-year break from shooting scenes, but I was always on the road dancing or involved doing adult bookstore appearances. And so I'm doing appearances again, just like some bookstores, some trade shows. And it's actually like super entertaining going back now.
You like it now.
Yeah.
Because we talked about
now
it.
I'm a fly on the wall.
We talked about it before, and I was listening to the I guess, a preview episode of your new podcast.
Yeah. Oh, thank
last
you
night.
for making the time to listen
Of
with your
course.
schedule. I'm
It's
so
I
flattered.
tried to, but the link was not. My link was no good. Laney sent me a bad link.
You just made that up. Who are you talking? You just made that up.
Did you just make that up?
Yes, I did.
And I believed you. Oh my God, I like you so much.
You just made
That's
it.
fucking fantastic.
All you have to do is
And
go
you
to
know what's
iTunes,
even
just
worse
write-
is that you blamed it on Lainey because I think that she's not the most computer savvy person in our lives.
But like
She
Lainey,
does send a broken link from time to time.
Sure,
That's
it
why
happens.
I'm
We
saying.
get them all the time.
But Lainey didn't.
and there's
send
no way for you to test that if I lie about it.
Lainey didn't send us anything. Like Lainey didn't book this.
Because I didn't.
No.
No, I did this myself.
Lisa
Yeah,
just
yeah.
texted me, and I was
But
like, "Hey, Lisa's
but you
gonna."
know what?
Yeah, but who would I have asked? I don't have your number, so I would have just asked Lainey for the link, and she sent me a broken link.
And
What am I
she
gonna
would
do?
have sent it anyway because Lainey and I still do talk all the time.
Okay,
so
it
there
is
is-
possible.
okay.
There is a possibility of his bullshit being real. That's what we're saying here.
But in this scenario, Jim, not true.
Bullshit.
It's a total lie.
Okay,
You know what, Jim? For that,
there it is.
She did the she did
Friends
the-
thing.
She did the Friends thing, and it's very
So,
hurtful.
so I was listening to it, and it reminded me of other conversations we've had about fans because it was just so funny. Because like, you go and you're doing this thing, and you're like, I want to create this podcast for my fans, and I want to let them into my life. And you always, every time you have the conversation, you're always like, I want to let the fans into my life, but here's the line.
Of course.
Every time you're like, this is where it ends. She goes like, I want to talk about sex on the podcast and sexuality and blah, blah,
Sure.
blah, and everything's a good time. But then Lisa has to go, but that doesn't mean I want to have sex with you.
right? Well, you just have to clarify now. It's kind of like this cup is sold with hot coffee on it, and it says "Don't burn yourself." You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So if I'm disclosing, like, I'm going to have open conversations with porn stars and other people, and it's going to be, very sexually enlightening, but has nothing to do with us. Don't make it about us. I still don't want to have sex with this fan.
So,
Right, with
but
everybody,
the
yeah.
fans they're not involved in the podcast. You're just saying in general you don't want to have sex.
No,
with them.
but this week's episode that drops on the Lisa Ann Experience is a Q&A, and I was smart. I'm getting smarter. I didn't filter the questions because then I would have hated everybody for a month or two. So I actually had my producer read the emails. He filtered the questions and sent the good ones. So he got to read the 500 sex proposals, weird, let me see your feet,
What size do you have, by the way, feet?
6.
Nice, but no. Why didn't you want? Why didn't you want the lousy ones read though? I mean, the lousy ones being read are fun sometimes, but people are saying creepy
It's
shit.
repetitive.
Oh, it gets redundant.
Yeah,
okay.
it's redundant.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
You start
yeah.
to lose your faith in humanity, right?
I do lose
I
my
see.
faith in humanity. So the exposure is just I'd rather live in my own oblivion, and I'd rather let someone else seek therapy for what they've had to read than me.
Are most guys that you date, or most guys that you'll fall in love with or sleep with, do they try to compete with what you've been through, or are they polar opposites of is it
Polar
the guys?
opposites. It's a two totally different worlds and lives. Creating something in a brightly lit room, having an experience in front of other people in the room and knowing that people are going to watch. The mental aspect of that is completely different than an intimate relationship or an intimate setting, which is two people without lights blazing on you, without a dude telling you move your hair. You know what I mean? So it's very, very different. And I can tell a guy's potential by meeting with him, by seeing if he's nervous around me or the things that he says. It's pretty easy to read at this point where I'm just like, yeah, this could work or this doesn't work.
So you're not looking for the same thing you had in film. So basically, if there was a guy who's not in great shape with failed erections, that's a good thing.
Maybe he's got
All
a
right,
Netflix
cool.
special.
Perhaps he does.
Guys do fail erections on set as well. By the way, I'm so triggered right now by this Lil Angelo Ball story is the highlight. Because if you remember, you and I talked about the kid who tried to steal the flag in China when I was on your show before. And I was so happy he went to jail, remember?
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. American goes and doesn't realize the value in the trip that he has, doesn't value the college education he's getting, goes and tries to steal a flag and gets put in jail. And when that kid got returned to his parents, he was not in good shape.
No.
He was like he had been in a business.
Wambier. Sorry,
yeah.
He died. Yeah, he died after he came back.
Oh, I did not know that he died.
Yeah.
He died. They sent him back.
When they sent him back, he was almost, so did these kids not catch that story?
They're saying that, 3 UCLA basketball guys were
China, yeah.
basketball guys. That's how much I know about sports.
Well, you're right,
Which
they
is your
are.
basketball guy that's your favorite?
Yeah, they're. You should just say it right. They're young hoopers. And
Yeah, 3 young hoopers who play for the UCLA college.
Oh,
Yeah.
MG.
they were shoplifting in
Gucci.
in China. Yeah,
Louis Vuitton,
Louis Vuitton,
actually.
sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know.
And they
I think
were-
Gucci's a thing of the past with the rappers, and now the kids want the Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, what am I?
I
I'm
see.
talking Slick Rick days. They were stealing Polo cologne. All right.
They were stealing Adidas back then with Polo and Jacquard.
yeah. They
Right.
stole a bunch of Gucci sweaters, is what I see here.
Ooh,
And
our FUBU. I
but
just
yeah,
see this story and I think
they're in China, and they may get like serious jail time for shot. Like
They won't, but I know what you're saying. They could.
Yeah.
We now have a relationship with China. North Korea, that kid was fucked.
that kid was fun.
That kid was fucked. And doing something stupid like that, I mean, it's just...
What are
that's
you
just-
doing?
It
Some-
teaches you. It shows us that they just don't understand the impact, the history, the different culture. But these kids, it's like you go on a trip, you get a shoplift, you have to fill out tax paperwork to bring items back, like Louis Vuitton. Do they not know that part of it?
Right.
Like when you buy a
You gotta duct
handbag
tape
that's
it to your
over
chest.
$5,000, you need to have the receipt for
Well,
that
you
because you're
probably-
taking it back over the border.
Well, it could have just been a gift. One of the things is with like this Otto kid is it's not even the history. It's that people here, there's very little consequences now. Like
Right.
everyone's kind of nice to each other and you don't say mean shit. And most of us can't comprehend a place where you steal a little flag and you're put in jail for 15 years. It just doesn't make sense.
And, I wouldn't be opposed to us going back to that here.
To
What?
Stealing the flag and you go to jail for 15
Now,
years.
are you like a hardcore conservative with crime?
No, but I just think that we're just getting a little bit. I think things are a little bit reckless at times, and I think we're seeing the temperature translate in everywhere from sports to mainstream media to, all of these things that are happening are just turbulent.
Condoms and porn should be mandated or no? They're mandating it in I think it's how they're trying to get it out of L.A.
Well, no, that
porn, you
already
mean.
did not pass, so that's no longer a
okay.
topic on the docket. That's
thought it did
over.
pass. No,
It did
okay.
not pass, and it was just a very confusing thing because every article written about it was misleading, and nobody really ended up knowing where it ended. But when it came to election time, it would have cost the state about $5 million just to put it into action, and the state really needs that money for other things that are more important. That's really.
Why would it have cost $5 million? Just
They
to,
got to have a task force in place
Oh,
that
my
comes and
God.
trains the industry and inspects the sets and gets OSHA involved and lets everyone know because you have to educate people. You can't just enforce laws. It's kind of like you own a salon and the State Board of Cosmetology comes to you with this guidebook. They inspect your place. They give you one try. Then after that, they show up whenever they want. It would have been something like this. That takes a lot of people.
Do you know how many people would have volunteered for that? It's like
Oh
people
my
who work for
gosh, you're
USADA have to go and
right.
test UFC fighters. You know how much better it'd be to fucking show up at a porn set and make sure everybody's wearing a rubber?
You're right.
wait. Let me check again.
That's where the $5 million would have been. It would have been all the volunteers. There's 500 people that want to do this gig. What a great gig!
They're just sorting through the
They could
volunteers.
have the wrong intention, though. You know what
I
I'm
watched.
saying?
I watched
Yeah,
them
they might.
shoot. It's not a sexy atmosphere on a set. I watched them. It's fucking. It's like a movie.
Who'd you watch? Let's talk about this.
I watched Jenna Jameson shoot a lesbian scene. I watched Belladonna do
legendary.
something in her
Yeah, right?
house.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Belladonna, her husband shot her in her house doing like a giant dildo scene with another girl. And then I watched one average price one, and then like
I
one
love that he's
average
going
budget.
by budget.
Yeah.
One was a Target, one was a Walmart,
Right.
and then we went over to Blue.
And
Bean.
one
Then
was
I
a
went to
guy's
Louis Vuitton.
No, and one was a guy's trunk open, and he was selling shit out the back. That was the handheld. The same guy with the cameras holding the light,
Right.
and pointing. I saw all three
bootleg
levels.
T-shirts outside the concert.
That was what it
this
was
is
like.
This is amazing.
What did
And
you like the
your
best?
takeaway? Yeah.
The highest budget one was I didn't enjoy. It was like watching a regular movie.
It was sanitized, right?
Yeah, and then watching the two guys fuck the girl. I
Was that the low budget?
No, that was the medium one.
Oh,
A guy named Mark Stone was the director, just screaming at people. It was really fun to watch. Come on, give me more, with the Chicago accent. Around,
Okay,
flip her
honestly,
around.
that's the stuff that I think that I miss. I miss the quirkiness of some of the weirdos that I regularly had to engage with and interact because when you look back on it, you get older, you start to really accept people for who they are, right? And you start to really embrace the uniqueness in some people. And so Mark Stone yelling on set, meanwhile, the guy's trying to stay hard. He's scaring everyone. I mean, I was on the back of a horse. For a Hustler movie we did, it was Obama's Nail and Palin. And it was a movie that we shot on Halloween to make sure that we could release it for Election Day. So you know what a short turnaround that is. And one of the scenes
why didn't
they
you
had,
shoot it in like a little before that?
they just decided like 2
Oh,
days
we should do
before.
Obama's Nail and Palin.
And we're going to shoot it on Halloween. I remember it was just a circus, but they took us up to this ranch and they put me on the guy that's playing Obama on the back of this horse. And of course, the horse trainer comes out and he's like, don't spook the horse, don't do this. Well, the director was
terminology.
one of those directors. And so, of course, we're on a cliff by a canyon. The director yells at us of something he wants to do, spooks the horse. The horse takes off. I'm only sitting back saddled because we really didn't expect the horse. I'm off the horse. And I mean, I remember thinking like, man, I don't know how we're going to get this scene done. Like, I'm sure this guy's pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
And the last thing he's going to want to do right now is, get wood.
Did he?
It wasn't an easy day. Then to include the horse in the scene, they made us do the scene on a bay of hail. And they had a bay of hail.
Bale of hay.
Bale of hay. And they
You
had
private dust.
and they had us on this, and they had the horse in the scene. So, of course, the horse kept eating the hay.
Sure.
So the guy was so freaked out by the horse, mind you.
He's
he
eating
never,
the hay like right next to you.
as we're doing
Oh
it,
my
and
God.
so we'd be doing this scene. I just remember you see this snotty big nose horse come in, just take another bite, stop and look, and chew. And I was just like, this cannot be over fast enough.
Yeah, that's
okay?
kind of creepy to have an animal in a porn scene. It's creepy.
The whole thing was just a bad idea.
Mark Stone died, by the way. Did you know Mark or no?
I did.
Oh, yeah, he passed away. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. He was he helped create the AVN award show. He was really good to me. I hosted. He was really nice, man. I said, what do you have? He had liver cancer. Wow. Only 61. Fuck.
When you hosted, were you impressed by the reading ability of the stars when they would be standing in front of the teleprompter to announce the upcoming movies that were being nominated?
I don't remember that, to be honest with you. I just remember being like worrying about my own shit as I came back up each time. I don't remember anything anybody else did.
Are there some reading problems in the industry?
It's awesome. I mean, it is my fave. My friends used to so when I really enjoyed going to AVN, I always took my civilian friends with me, and I always rolled with like 4 or 5 people, and then they'd sit down at the table and they'd pick out the little the flyer, and they'd circle the titles of the movies they wanted to win just by the titles, and then the girls would go up to read, and I would explain to them, this is why dialogue takes so long. The teleprompter's right there. The girls had a couple cocktails, or the guys are no better, and so they're really struggling with it. And I can remember one girl who I will not mention, she said, why is this in Spanish? We were like,
was it in Spanish?
Oh, no.
God.
we were like, I knew she couldn't really read.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no.
And just like intoxicated, listen, it does take a little practice to read a teleprompter. You have to know what pace it works for you. I've always had an app for my iPad so I could learn how to really read it. And you have to put a little time in, but still.
It really is two-sided, because on one end, people are going like, well, these girls, the industry chews them up and spits them out, and then they've got no place to go after. But at the same time, they didn't bother to learn to read at any point. Like, they didn't pick up any skills.
Well, some may be troubled when they get in. Some
Yeah,
may be
but-
already troubled, yeah.
Yeah, but when you start making money, you have the option to do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Right.
Money is power. So you start making money, you create your schedule. I mean, these girls get to make their own schedule.
That's right.
They do get to decide who they work with and who they don't. It really is ultimately their choice, whether they stand up and make that choice or not.
Did you learn
it's
to
no
read?
one to blame.
Did you learn to read as a child?
I did.
Oh, me too.
Who was on your?
Yeah.
Did you have
Me
people
too.
on your no list?
Oh, yeah.
How many?
Probably like 70% of the business.
Wow.
What
I
was
only
the-
wanted
what-
to work for a narrow group of people who were not crazy.
What would make someone go on your no list?
A guy or a talent,
Yeah.
talent who is late, didn't take care of themselves. I can remember a girl showing up late, like 3 hours late for a girl shoot. And she's like, oh, we were at this rave last night. And I looked down at her arm and she still has the paper bracelet on, which I know you're thinking the same thing as me, Sam. This means this girl did not take a shower
That's
yet.
exactly
That's
what
not what I was
Because-
thinking.
I said, oh, are you kidding me? It's
I was
paper.
thinking her asshole's going to smell terrific.
There was a fake shower on set that had no hot water, but it was a shower. And I was like, the only way this is taking place is if we rearrange this scene a bit.
Which is basically like spraying
And
somebody with
I
a hose.
put her in this cold shower.
Yeah, you Pulp Fictioned her, basically.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do a scene with a girl who is fucking dancing on ecstasy at a rave for 5 hours.
I did not.
And then slept and then just woke up in
Right.
3 hours. So it's got to be in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah. So
And she-
those are
ugh.
really the little things. And also when you start to work with people you really enjoy, there's no need to open up and work with more people because you're creating a sexual product, and the more connection you have with those people, the more trust, the more you enjoy each other each time you see each other, you just know that you're going to be guaranteed to get a good scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
You like working with coworkers you like,
Sure.
even when it
I
comes
haven't,
down
but
to producer.
Yeah, you'll get there one
Hey, how
day.
are you liking this whole thing?
I like it.
I do too.
I like it. I like working with Jim. I just saw somebody photoshopped a photo of Ric Flair with a giant penis.
Oh, I was
So
looking at
that's-
Travis with a gay
that's
pride thing on his
fantastic.
Now,
chest.
Lisa, you're actually you like athletes. That's your
Yeah, they're okay.
yeah. Have you ever had sex with Ric Flair?
No, I have not. But why do I have a beard right there? Can I see that again? Wow, that's what I'd look like.
That's not Sam
I know,
fan fuck. He likes to Photoshop his
but
beard.
what I want to
onto
know is why
everybody.
he chose that color. You know, wouldn't
That's
you have
his
gone?
beard.
It's
he
his
likes,
real beard.
he likes to
Oh.
put it on everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to wear it as a hat.
I don't mind it. It's neat and tidy. It looks pretty good. It's conditioned well.
well-groomed.
It does actually accent the cleavage in the photo, but I would have liked it to match my hair color. Just a suggestion.
What's it been like for you to be back at these conventions? Because obviously you're a fly on the wall, but at the same time, like you're dealing with a lot of people, right? A lot of fans coming up.
Yeah,
And some of
but-
them I'm sure are great. And
I can say that, probably when I was at my busiest time, I was more burned out and I didn't really get it. And now that I come back and I'm having these random conversations, I find them actually pretty entertaining. Like, for the most part, there's a lot of couples that come to these events. So it's really nice to talk to them. It's really neat to see that they go out once a year and buy a bunch of toys and have a wild night at Exotica, what have you. And as for the guys, like I get to have these like conversations with them. Like, if you could really break it down, like how many hours a week do you think you're watching porn? Like,
Right.
is this something we should talk? Do you see it as a problem? You know what I mean? Like,
so you become entertained by it.
And I've become truly entertained by it. And there was this guy that was so traumatized that he forgot one of his magazines to get signed by me. And my security and I are just like, he's like having a minor meltdown. I said to him, I don't really know how you're going to go on without this extra signature on this magazine from 1994. Like, and we were literally dying inside. I gave the guy a bunch of extra stuff.
What, he
and
forgot to bring the magazine?
Yeah, and he was so devastated. And I was
A
like,
little OCD.
You know what you should do on your podcast?
I was like, this is amazing.
You should find the guys that like spend hours and hours and hours watching porn and like interview those guys on your podcast and like break them down.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
Maybe don't do it at
You
your
mean
house.
like a counseling kind of situation?
No, just or just
Like-
a chat.
Yeah, just like get in their heads a little bit.
Yeah, or get them to be dirty, like to say dirty
I don't
things.
know.
You know how awkward that would be. Talk dirty to Lisa Ann. Like try to be like you watched her. You're a fan. Now say what you want to say. How awful they'd be at it. That'd be
like
great.
It'd be like a guy who's not funny, just repeating jokes he's seen on
Dude,
comedy
it'd be
specials.
fucking.
like-
I would listen to that all day. I just want to fuck you. Oh, yuck.
and
I
then
do
Lisa
tell
could
them-
be there to be
I
like,
do
you
tell
see
them-
where a woman wouldn't actually in real life find that appealing?
Yeah, women would listen to it for sure. I do actually tell them that they should work as hard at finding real vagina as they do at watching porn. Like I
Right.
say to them, I hope by the next time I see you, you've gotten some real vagina. Like, you know what I mean? Like just try to get out of your house and away from your screen and get some.
Yeah.
Right. It really is funny because people will spend hours and hours and hours and hours searching for the right video that they want to watch.
That they want to shoot
how many unique visitors a day do you think Pornhub gets?
I'm at 1,500.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna take the over.
80 million.
What?
80 million unique visitors a day. Pornhub.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Really, that's a lot, right?
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. I mean,
Wow.
it's worldwide, but that's a lot of people.
I should get in
That's more than
business with
Amazon.
Pornhub.
You think
You
so?
should. Well, what could you do? Let's talk about it. Let's market you a little bit.
I'm just hoping that my stupid character podcast can somehow get involved with Pornhub.
Couldn't because Pornhub sponsors a lot of things that aren't
Yep.
even porn.
Yep,
Like,
they're
and-
trying to branch out for sure.
Right. I bet you could be, or Chip could be the first comedian of Pornhub, or you could be the first.
He could
comedian
review
of
a
Pornhub.
scene a week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know.
Chip Chipperson?
Chip Chipperson reviews for Pornhub.
Ooh, that would be fun.
I think it'd be great.
And I mean, you don't use stars, of course. You have to have another figure of.
Pekkas!
Right. Pekkas. Right.
She doesn't know who Chip is, so she's like, why is he now yelling at me?
Right. Chip is a character that Jim.
That's a great
I'm
idea.
sorry. Jim is a character that Chip does at
Yeah.
this point.
So
Jim-
another thing
I'm
I've
going to
started.
text my guy right now. That's
I've
a great
started
idea.
doing, which is interesting, is strip clubs have realized they still want me to come to their clubs even if I don't take my clothes off.
So you just
So
go
now
to
I'm
strip
getting
clubs
paid to host. So like this Friday night, I'll be at Excess in Staten Island, and they just have me chill. I come and take pictures with everybody. It's like a super social event for me. I get to play dress up because remember, when you're doing radio, you stop putting on heels and dressing up.
Sure.
You don't even need makeup. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's like, okay, now once or twice a month I get out the door and it's a carry-on flight only because I'm just going in and out for the night usually. And it's so much fun and it's just social enough.
So did you have to be away for a certain amount of time for 3 years or whatever before? Because I remember like when you first got out of it, I probably talked to you like a year after, and you were like kind of distancing yourself from all of it, just
I went.
so
It was
you're
such a
removed.
bad breakup. Remember, there was court involved. There was people trying. There was death threats. There was just the business treated me like a gang, and like I tried to. When I left that gang, the gang retaliated against me. It was never really fans, although there have been some creepy people that have not made my days pleasant. But it was really the inside out, and it's an interesting thing because now when I go back, it's the first. This is the first year out of the 3 years where I've done events, and I'm starting to see some of these people in person again. And it's interesting because they have to realize that you have to have a plan. And you can't hate on the person that had the plan.
Right.
But the business wants to be done with you before you're done with it.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that did very nasty things to me that now I'm actually getting to have face-to-face conversations with. And it's a beautiful thing to face someone that did something horrific to you and just sit them down in a very calm and respectful way and address it.
And what by hateful? What do you say? What do you consider horrible that someone did?
Giving away my personal information, my family's personal information, addresses, phone numbers.
Was this a
everything.
performer or someone else?
This was performers, yes.
And why did they do it?
Just to be spiteful.
And how have they responded to you talking to them?
I think there's a chance that they realized that if it did ever happen to them and the shoe was on the other foot, that it would be a miserable place to be. And it's an unfair thing to do to somebody else, which you wouldn't want done to yourself.
But when you like sit them down, like how do they deal with seeing you face to
They're
face?
very squirmish.
Right.
They're very
Do
squirmish.
they deny? Or no, I meant to. It was just a prank. Or
No, they're pretty quiet. They're pretty taken back by the whole fact that I'm willing to sit down now face to face. And I will corner somebody and I will wait until I see that there's no one really around to remove them from the situation. It's a good 10-minute face to face talk, but don't forget about the people you hurt.
So what do you
because
say
they'll
to them when
come
you
back.
first walk up to them and you want to have this chat? How do you say, like, let's have a?
I just say, hey, do you have a minute? I think it's a good idea for us to have a conversation.
And has any of them said no?
No, but one of them looked like she was going to cry the second it started.
Well, yeah, because I can't imagine like.
And one
'Cause
of
you
them
know
was a
you're in the
guy.
wrong
One of
when
them
you
was a
do
guy
that.
this weekend I got to sit down with at Exotica. And this is a guy that regularly bullies a lot of women in the business and has done a lot of bad things to a lot of people. And he walks a really fine line. And I'm surprised at the risks he takes. And I told him, I said, I think you're reckless with the fact that many people know your secrets. And you shouldn't be so evil when you have more to hide than others. So I just want you to think this through.
Wow.
So when you say secrets, do you mean sexual secrets or money? What kind of secrets?
or behavior?
Secrets, behavior, like the agents that illegally cash the girls' checks at check cashing stores, that get fake IDs in Arizona for foreign girls, that are booking privates illegally. You know all the stuff that goes down in the business because you've had girls in here for years.
Yeah.
Plenty of
So
Sam.
it's just these people don't realize, don't mess with people when you have that much going on.
When you have that much dirt, you shouldn't be trying to put other people's dirt. So do they know that they put your shit out there, or are they shocked that you know that they put your shit out there?
They know because some of them were stupid enough down the road after a period of time to brag about things and to just continue to talk about it. So it got back to me in a situation where I know how everything started. I knew who the ringleaders were. I knew who they got after them. I know who they're still getting to carry their torch. They still have some of the young girls that don't even know me carrying the torch and talking about me negatively in situations.
Saying
that
what
come
though?
back.
Just because you left the business? Who cares?
Well, people get jealous,
Yeah.
Maybe.
especially when you do it like when you leave on top and on your own terms. Anything. When you leave in a good way, there are always people.
Anything. He's right. Anything.
that are stuck in. If they feel stuck in the business,
Yeah.
they don't really have any other marketable skills.
So why aren't
they're-
they happy you're gone? Then it's better, more room for them to move up.
Well, this is what you would think, but when you're running in a scared mindset, when you live in a desperation in a space where you haven't thought for yourself, anybody else who has more than you is the enemy.
Okay.
And that's really what I've learned, the psychology of it. Like I've taken an incredible amount of time to read and to really understand the mindset and how people can get in this frame of mind. And it's really, I had to stop and say, this has nothing to do with me. This is all about them.
One of the things that you were talking about on your podcast I was listening to was there's this I can't remember, her name escapes me, but there's this woman on Twitter who's become kind of famous for exposing
Oh, yeah,
DMs.
yeah. Mia Khalifa.
That's who it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mia
athletes.
Khalifa.
She fucks over athletes a
Right.
lot.
She's this she's also an ex-porn star who's now gotten into sports,
Yep,
correct?
yep.
But she, whereas Lisa, like when you started, I feel like it was almost like this thing of embracing, like, yeah, I love athletes and I hook up with athletes and I have lots of athletes that are friends and lots of athletes that are partnered. But it was this like Let's all celebrate this
Right.
thing.
It's all
Have fun.
consensual, enjoyable, and I get the I get the access to these hot young men. Why shouldn't I enjoy it?
But
I
you never
don't-
exposed anyone.
Never exposed anybody.
And she has like developed this following now of people because she's exposing DMs all the time.
Why does she do that? I mean, to me, it's kind of shitty. Like, unless someone's being a dick, but if someone's just reaching out, like, and you're not interested, why not just say you're not interested? Like,
She is of this new generation where they want fame from dragging other people.
Yeah.
And they can't
It's
find
quicker.
a way. You're right. It's quicker.
It's quicker to
And,
like, yeah.
shows like TMZ and the way the news has slanted a bit, we've started to have more fun with other people's mishaps than by finding a positive way to brand ourselves.
and now she's actually just reaching out to people. And one guy is like, "No, I know what you did." Like one guy had a really funny response to
I
it.
love that
Right,
one.
so it'll go up, it'll go down just as fast, but it's just and also like one of the guys that really upset me was it Wilmer Contreras, I think, the baseball player. Well, it was over the summer. He just slid into her DMs and like I'm a big fan of this and that. And she blasted him, and she always waits till like they're playing a game so then it could be up on the internet
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
hours. Her timing is ridiculous, and I thought to myself,
and it wasn't
like,
even like bad. It was
wasn't
just like
bad at all. And I
he was
thought to
repeating
myself,
himself.
she's following him so he can DM her. He musters up the courage. You have no idea how many months it might take somebody to muster up the courage to finally send you a DM
Right.
and admit that they're a fan. Like, we have a responsibility to look at that, like, either ignore it, don't accept DMs from people, but to just shame somebody.
Wait, what
like,
did she? Wilson Contreras.
Yes.
What did she say about him? Like, did he say anything shitty in the
No.
DM?
No,
he didn't.
The DMs were just like, and honestly, the DMs looked exactly the same as the DMs that Shitloaf was accused of sending on Facebook. It was just like,
I want to fuck.
no,
Oh,
not
no.
not that one.
Okay.
It was the just.
Who sent that?
Well, we'll introduce you to Shitloaf in a minute, but
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But this guy for the Cubs, he's sending her DMs that are just like, hey, I'm a fan. Hey, I just wanted to reach out, but it was just like.
And then even worse, when the Cubs were playing the Dodgers in the playoffs, she was out in LA shaming him and like videoing him and putting it on her social media. And while he's playing a game, I'm thinking like, this kid is doing something with his life. He's in the playoffs. He's in Major League Baseball. That's like a 10-month sport. Do you not understand how hard he's working?
She wrote, here's what he wrote. He wrote, I'm sure you get this a lot, but I'm a big fan of you. And then he put a bunch of dumb little smiling emojis. And then he writes,
That just grinds Jim like the fucking emoji.
No,
What
I
are
get
you-
it, though.
What are you doing?
and then he writes, it will be great if you just say hi. And she responds, bye, B-Y-E.
What a bitch.
She
no, she
seems
re-
awful.
Oh yeah, and then he responded again.
LOL, good morning.
Then he writes good afternoon. Then he writes my friend. Then a while later he writes I hope you're doing good. Like he's just
You know what?
grasping
what?
at straws.
Now he's being annoying. Now he's being annoying.
But
You know what?
with Twitter, you have the option to not accept direct messages from people that you don't want direct messaging you. There's tons of, yes, I agree. I tell guys this. If you send 3 messages and let's say they're over a span of a week and you get no response, don't send the 4th.
He
Right.
sent
Don't
way
send
too
it
many
forward.
messages
Even
without a
text.
response.
That we agree on that, but still, he's bored on the road. Athletes are bored on the road. It's very lonely. Whatever. She still shouldn't have responded. That way.
Yeah, maybe not, but I'm less annoyed at her for this when I see that this guy sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fucking stop it. Send 1 or 2.
Here's a good one for you. There's a very well-known girl, I won't mention her name, who was at a party with a bunch of athletes that I know. over the
Scarlett
summer.
Johansson.
No, a girl in the business.
Okay.
And she was just talking mad shit about
Vanessa
me.
Del Rio.
Out of nowhere, just talking mad shit about
To
me.
athletes?
Yeah, just talking
Like
mad
it wasn't
shit.
going to come back to you?
They called me from the party to tell me that she was there talking shit. So I called her agent and I said, she dies or you have her picked up. Those are your 2 choices. And he had her picked up in 5 minutes. So I got to see her for the first time this week at Exotica, for the first time since the incident. I didn't say a word, but I walked in front of her booth and I just stared at her with my security behind me. I just stared at her like, next time you do die. Okay?
Did she know that you knew?
She knew because her agent said, don't go to parties in Los Angeles and be around people and be just mad shit talking Lisa Ann. It's completely fucking unnecessary and it might get you killed. At this point, I am retaliating.
Right.
Right? So
Enough is enough.
all of my people at parties are like, and also you go to every club person you know and make sure she cannot get into anywhere. I want her privileges revoked.
I'm going to follow Mia Khalifa.
What are you doing?
Send her a DM. This could be great for you.
Oh yeah, send her. Get thirsty. Get
You know what?
real
Let's
thirsty.
find a really good dick pic
Yeah, wow.
and send it. Doesn't mean to be yours.
Let's steal a what?
A dick pic.
Let's steal a really.
No, I have a couple of pretty good penis pictures.
Wait, do you mean a couple
Saved
as
in your phone or on the hard drive of your computer?
So cute on my phone.
I mean, there's a reason why Jim and the iCloud do not get along.
Hold on, I want to see.
I don't fear the cloud, as you can only imagine.
Yeah, right.
I don't fear the cloud.
Well, you don't have that much to hide, right?
I have
2 million
nothing. What are you going to
followers.
see? What are you going to see? What are you
Right.
going to see that you haven't
Right.
seen? So I'm one of those people that's like, the cloud?
Right.
I'll follow her.
That's
The cloud would disappoint you because it would show you the healthy meals that I'm making, that I'm photographing and sending my flat friends.
Yeah.
You know, my plants. Like, you'd be like, what? This is Lisa Ann's cloud?
I'm gonna
I'll
follow
go
her
to
for a while.
Pornhub.
And then see if she. Let's see if I can.
See if you can get her to follow you back. So
I don't
you can
think
slide
she
in.
will. I don't think she will.
You're verified. She
I'd
might.
love to see you slide in there.
Oh, it'd be so great.
Yeah, we'll see. Slide in there in the DMs. I'll say something smooth.
I love this.
Is Shitloaf in there? Tell him to come to the microphone.
You don't want him in there?
Yeah, yeah, you can come in if you want.
I am going to assume that Shitloaf is not the real name of said
It
person.
is actually.
It's his birth name.
Yeah. Shitloaf.
Yeah, its middle name is Loaf.
Yeah, because during the birth, a lot of times during a birth,
Yeah.
a woman will shit, and that was what happened when he was born.
You realize I have no kids, right? And this
Yeah.
whole childbirth thing is horrific. Oh
That's
my gosh,
Shitloaf.
Shitloaf! We were talking in the hallway, and you seemed somewhat normal.
Microphone. There you go.
I'm normal.
Okay.
Somewhat.
All
So
right.
let's talk about why you're in here.
So Shitloaf, we found out.
Hope food's just being delivered up in the studio. So
That's the way we roll.
Yeah.
Shitloaf was he was sending direct messages on Facebook,
A
not
while
on
ago.
Twitter. A while ago. This is
A
Sure.
while ago.
Okay, let's talk about a while. How old are you?
27.
And how long is a while to you? 6 months, a year?
A year.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a while? A year?
It's just go from
Okay.
there.
So he's sending them to a couple of coworkers and then also all their friends.
Did you mean to, or were you hitting a feature where you didn't know it was mass going out? Did you think it was a one-on-one thing?
It was individual
It
messages.
was individual.
And were you drinking?
No.
And
And did you feel it was appropriate working in corporate
Well,
America
I
to
didn't
be
say anything. I only
sexually
said-
harassing your
I
coworkers?
didn't sexually harass anyone. I didn't s-
Sorry, I'm liking Khalifa's photos.
stop trying to flirt with
Stop
Mia
fucking
Khalifa.
around, man. Focus.
I'm hoping
Okay.
she writes me.
So you know, Shitloaf, in today's world, that could be considered sexual harassment.
That's why
I'm just saying.
I'm making sure that it's not sexual harassment.
But
Did you apologize?
Of
or how,
course.
Did you get brought out? Like, did people
Well,
tell on you?
They came in and
what,
aired the dirty,
what
aired
was
the dirty laundry.
What was the direct message that we were all so concerned about?
Yeah.
What was the text of the message that you wrote?
I believe it was 4 words.
Uh-huh.
I just want to fuck. But it wasn't in that. I was under the influence of something.
I'm so impressed he still has a job in
So
his
am I.
fine establishment.
I know. What did you start? Well, she had written. You wrote her a bunch of. You guys.
That
are
was
going,
different. That was a different person.
Different person. He didn't write this to that person.
But no. But there was one that you wrote a bunch to, and she was writing you back
Yeah,
every time.
But I was saying no, she wasn't bringing me back at all.
How many times did you
Oh
contact her?
my God, even
4.
worse.
4 or
Oh,
5.
he did the fourth.
4.
Yeah, I did the
He
4th.
went for the fourth.
4
I was-
times.
She wasn't writing you back at all, and you still went in.
She wrote me back twice, but then it was another 4. So
What were you saying?
Happy New Year. Hope your day's going. Wilson Contreras shit.
Hope your day's going well.
You were on some
Oh
Wilson
my God! You know what
Contreras
we
shit.
hear? It's like Jason running after you.
Psycho.
Wait,
yeah.
Happy New Year isn't good from someone you're not interested in?
Well, I mean, it's just the tone that he's going with. You're like, okay, this guy has nothing else going on but to send me a message right now. Like,
I
on New Year's.
stopped doing
So
all
what
that.
was the context of the "I just want to fuck" message?
I don't remember. I really don't remember what
That's
I said to
actually
her.
worse.
Yeah, a lot worse.
Rule number 1: don't shit where you eat.
No.
Don't date at work. Don't date in your apartment building.
right.
Don't date within a 3-mile radius. Like, don't send messages to those people. If you have to put a radius on all of your apps and say, I cannot direct message people that are coworkers, like,
Yeah,
label
I
this
I
shit.
deleted the app.
You deleted
I
which app?
deleted the
Because you
Facebook.
can't be
You
trusted.
can't have Facebook.
can't have Facebook on
cannot
your
be
phone?
trusted
Facebook.
with
You know,
the Facebook app. Bless this kid's heart.
I mean, a 20-something who
7.
can't
Are you on
handle
any? Are you on
Facebook.
any dating apps like Tinder?
No.
Grinder.
Could be.
Goes right to Grinder.
Could be.
No dating apps, because that's a great place for you to express yourself.
Maybe I'll start because I really should start.
Why are
doing-
you not on a dating app? I'm
I
surprised
don't
you're
know.
on
I,
all
just,
of
I
them.
never really.
Because he's too
Are you
successful
on a dating
Facebook.
app?
I was. I was on a bunch of them.
How'd it go?
Not great, like I've met a decent amount of people, but it's almost like with all these choices, you're like, you go out. I have a lot of no bad ones, just dinners, a lot of dinners.
And for guys, they have to pay, so
I don't
it just
care.
doesn't work
It was
out.
something to do. It was
Yeah.
nice. It was whatever. You go out and eat and chat. with
How
somebody.
many times did the girls actually look like the photo that they were using?
A decent amount. A couple of
Okay.
times they were fatter.
Did you find they were heavier?
Yeah, a couple of times they were fatter.
Too bad.
Like,
Emphasis
that's-
on fatter.
Not
Like-
always. Couple beautiful, but a couple fatter.
Was that disappointment?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, women really know what their angle is. They really know how to shoot their pictures now. They really know how to filter, retouch, what have you.
Yeah.
And so it is an illusion. It's really an illusion. When you see them straight on, they look different.
If you're holding if your profile photo, it looks like it was taken with the Hubble, I know you're a fucking monster.
Like, that's why I'm not on the dating apps. I'm so nervous that I'm going to show up and it's going to be not the person that I expected, and then it's like, oh.
Well, yeah, because you're such a catch. I'm sure.
yeah,
that
I listen. I think you'd be happy if someone showed up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really fucking think. You know, this is the guy
Yeah.
that just admitted he sent 4 messages with no response, and he's like, "Well, I don't get. Listen,
Yeah.
take the dates.
And when he's not doing that,
Take the fucking dates, okay?"
by the way, the 4 messages is the less creepy one. Because
Yeah,
the other
can you
one said,
imagine?
I just want to fuck.
How did this come into the workplace? Did you get written up, or was there any consequences?
I wasn't working here,
Oh, okay.
but I was working in another department.
I see.
And I didn't think it was all going to come out on the air ever.
Some of the girls thought it would be fun to let Jim and myself know.
Of course.
They said he was creepy.
They said he was
I
creepy.
would have been screen grabbing him and sending you updates all the time without like, oh yeah,
Here's the
that's
problem.
too fun.
And you've probably encountered this before. The girls come in and they go, yeah, no, Anthony's creepy. And Anthony gets all indignant about it. He's like, I'm not fucking creepy. I don't know why they keep saying that. I'm not creepy. And they're like,
I'm creepy.
Okay, here's the DMs.
Yeah, you're
They're like,
fucking
all right, here's the evidence.
Yeah, you're creepy.
Oh,
I know.
shucks.
Not for being perverted though. I mean, I'm perverted, but it's just because you didn't, 4 straight. It's like,
It's a bit much.
And then she read them.
I've probably done that though. I mean,
was
in my
bad.
life, I can't lie. I've probably done stuff too. Like,
You were a
I'll
creepy
tell
little
ya.
guy, though, when you were younger.
I was.
And older. Yeah, still now.
It's well, I'm glad you're doing better, but I do, next time I see you, I'd love to see you on some dating apps, and I'd like to read the reviews that you get on the dating apps.
So would I.
Yeah.
How come you have to leave?
At 9:15, 9:20, I'm going to walk over to Morning Men, visit the guys in studio.
What's Morning Men?
It's a sports
show.
Sports channel, yeah.
Oh, I don't know those guys.
Sports.
Oh, Mad
and-
Dog, okay.
Mad Dog.
Yeah, on the Mad Dog channel.
Is it Chris Russo or no? He's afternoon.
He does
These
the
afternoons, it's Mike Babchuk and Evan Cohen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fun guys.
Yeah, I know who Evan Cohen is.
Yeah, you'd know if
We're
you
in a
saw him,
fantasy football league together. I'm 6-3 in that league, which I just took a L, and like I'm so upset. I wanted to come in here 7-2 and be like, I'm on a 7-game win streak, and no, I'm.
Are you playing with
6-3.
Michael
Yes.
Rappaport?
No,
Oh.
not this year.
Why
I know
not?
he loves playing.
Yeah, we checked out of that league. But 19 other leagues doing pretty well. I did fantasy baseball last year. I don't know if I can do it again this year.
Is it boring?
It's so time consuming.
Yeah.
To stay in the top 3, in your league, because I finished in last my first year playing. So then this year I became obsessed.
Do you
and
gamble
was
on
in-
them, or is it just
no,
fantasy?
it's just against all the hosts. I mean, it took 20, 30 hours a week to manage that team.
Oh my god.
But I just wanted to finish and be competitive and stay in the top 3 all season, which I did. And then I ended up finishing in 4th place, like tied for 3rd.
How often do you do radio?
Sunday nights, I do a show from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. called Overtime. Monday nights is Lisa Ann Does Fantasy, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. And they're both on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Oh, cool.
Shitloaf does some not really like fantasy sports, but he's got a
I do
gambling
fantasy
problem.
sports.
Oh,
but
you're just
I
a
also-
degenerate
I
all the way around, of
Through and
course.
through.
When he says again, I mean, I do this for the challenge of it. A lot of the only money leagues I'm in are charity leagues. So
Sure,
the
money,
winner
money,
picks the
money.
charity, and then all the money goes to that charity.
No,
The
no
gambling on
charities
sports.
here.
I
This
grew
is
up
the
with
charity.
degenerate relatives that every sporting event was ruined by gambling.
Yeah.
Every Super Bowl, there were people fighting. My dad and my uncle be in the yard fighting. I'm like, I'm never doing that over sports.
By the way, you are not the charity. Your bookie is the charity.
Yeah, yes,
he's the one.
yes, he
He's
is.
the one making
You
the
are
money.
the degenerate.
Yes.
God, how about strip clubs? Do you frequent?
No.
Oh, that's the next.
No,
That's the next
that's the next-
endeavor.
He'll
Let's
get
take
there.
this kid into a strip club.
But just ruin him, right?
Let's just give
ruin
him
him.
some loot.
Do you
Yeah.
think he'd get addicted in a strip club?
Addicted instantly. Are you kidding me? He'd be living out of a car after a couple months because
Well,
he'd be the first one to be like, "So I met this girl and she really likes me." The
Yeah.
stripper.
We've all
that
done
Yeah, no,
it.
she really likes me. Yeah, it's not just a regular stripper thing.
No. She really likes me,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm going over to her place. She needs me to help her move.
She likes to gamble too.
Yeah,
We're
she-
gonna go to Atlantic City together.
Because there's some of those girls, like if a strip club is weird because the way they touch you. Like I remember one girl was so good. She gave me lap dances. It was hot. And then she's giving this other guy lap dances. And then she's looking over at me like, oh boy, work. Like,
Oh my, that is so good.
But I knew what she was doing. I thought it was very
But,
funny. I'm like,
like,
but she was
Some
great.
of the best people watching in the world is at strip clubs. There's no doubt. It's just such a cast of characters. I saw some of the craziest shit happen in clubs. It was always the girls, like girls getting in fights where they just like one by one break off their acrylic nails so that they can. And when I'd see that going down, I'd be like, all right, let me get locked in my dressing room and just peek out once in a while and see what's going on.
I bet Mary Jean's been in a situation
Mary
like that.
Jean Weekly. Did she get fired from fighting in a club?
Yeah.
I don't know if she got fired. She did one of our live shows, and she got in a fight with one.
I
with
saw the
another girl.
video.
Yeah.
I saw the.
She doesn't play games.
The thing with
doesn't.
her is it's so one extreme or the other.
Right.
And I think as a woman, maybe when she gets older, she'll find her way. She definitely needs to talk with someone and find a way to channel her energy. It's all about like now when I travel so I don't kill people, I listen to the Headspace app,
What's Headspace?
meditation. So
Yeah.
I'm in the airport, and instead of wanting to slug the guy that I know is just taking photos of everything that I do in the airport, I'm just like, it's okay.
Did you ever
I'm
ask him not to?
meditating. Oh, all the time.
When you say, could you not take that many pictures? What do they say?
I'll never jerk off to you again. And I'm like, wow.
What a fucking bitch!
yeah.
Well, you
And then
approach them nasty
and
or
then
no?
they'll tweet about it, and then they'll tweet, she was a fucking bitch. Now with the interaction that they can throw back at you on social media,
Yeah.
it's just not worth even addressing it. We've lost kind of our rights in that situation. You just got to do your best to
Yeah.
ignore any interaction because it can backfire. If you start yelling at somebody, someone else is going to video that.
Or do you just ask them? Like, have you ever just approached them and asked them and said, look,
Of course, no one wants to be videoed when they're eating. I just don't eat out anymore unless I'm traveling. But because you do ask them, I mean, I did just, you could be chewing and they'll walk up to you like, hey, can I have a photo? You're like, man, I'm fucking eating. But you gotta
in
really
my
watch now because they will video the negative interaction. The next thing you know, TMZ's got you on.
And
That's
then
great, though.
It's like it's great.
If I go in, I'm taking the guy down.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you go like, can I take a photo with you? Actually, I'm eating right now. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm just gonna video you
Yeah,
for
I'm
the
just
whole
going to video
time.
you for your whole dinner
Yeah.
now and just really creep out on you.
Absolutely.